It was just a cold, dreary morning and dark, then snowy.
And it had rained, it had rained for several days, just torrential rains. And all of a sudden, here come this awful wall of black water. There was houses, there was cars. It was just horrendous.
Been talked about for years, but nobody believed it. It was just something they thought, oh, that's just talk. That's not going to ever happen. But it did.
After the initial water was down, of course everybody was out trying to see what had happened and what they could see. There was bodies lying on railroad cars and houses against bridges where you couldn't, the road was totally blocked. It was a feeling of total shock and disbelief, really, to think anything like that could happen in your community.
People they didn't know what to do. They were just running around, didn't have any place to go, didn't have any clothes, didn't know where the meal was coming from. But it was a sad, sad time, and just hopefully it'll never happen again.
But you know, life goes on, and I'm sure that most of the folks that did lose family and friends, they've had to accept it and go on with their lives.
As the flood would, the water's coming over the bank, and then with every succeeding second, it came faster and faster.
The water started building up, old, cold, sooty, black-looking water.
That black water would kill 125 people, injure 1,100, and leave 4,000 homeless on February 26, 1972. When the flood happened, Arlie Johnson was just 12 years old.
Moved houses like matchsticks, they were just being moved, and cars, and we saw trees bend and railroad tracks wrap around trees and all kinds of things.
High above his home, 3 Pittston Coal Company dams holding back millions of gallons of mine wastewater burst after days of heavy rain.
You could see it rolling down the valley, a black wall of water.
125 lives were snuffed away.
On the anniversary, dozens came to remember the victims, but also to raise awareness of the dangers of irresponsible mining. But some, like Arlie Johnson, don't need to be warned. Even though it's been 35 years, he has not forgotten seeing the victims.
Everyone looked the same. They all looked black because it was black sludge water. They were all black, hair, nose, mouth. Most were stripped of their clothing, okay? It was horrible. It was a horrible thing for me to see.
He just bent down and gave me a kiss on the cheek, and that's when I started to cry for the first time.
Kerry Albright was just 9 months old in February of 1972 when Buffalo Mining Company's Dam No. 3 collapsed, sending 132 million gallons of coal waste down Buffalo Creek Road. Albright's brother Stephen saw what was coming and grabbed his mom Sylvia and Kerry and started running, but they ended up trapped in the sludge.
They knew they weren't going to make it, so they decided to count to 3 and then just throw me as far as they could. And then the water got them, and of course they drowned.
That ended up saving Kerry's life. A pastor found him about 30 minutes later buried in the sludge. Kerry's dad, Robert, was reunited with his son at his uncle's house. A few days after the spill, doctors told Robert Kerry was going to make it, and that's when he became known as the Miracle Baby. Kerry says what his mom and brother did that morning is what anyone in that situation would have done.
I think my mother, to me, she kind of just represents the women of Buffalo Creek.
Kerry now lives in New York and is an entertainer. He was back home Sunday because part of Buffalo Creek Road is being named the Kerry Albright Road. Kerry's friends say this is a great way to shed light on a dark situation.
The life that he has led, and led productively, I think that it's a wonderful gesture to not death but to life.
Things like this open up the history to a new generation of people so that they can learn about the past.
Kerry's friends spoke at the ceremony, and State Senator Art Kirkendall read the legislation that officially renamed the part of Buffalo Creek Road that runs through Laredo Kerry Albright Road.
anyone on Buffalo Creek is deserving of this. Anyone who went through that disaster or is associated with that disaster, anything like that is totally just as worthy or not more worthy